When Eldon and I started this channel, we said that our goal was to educate and spread the gospel. We believe God wanted us to make these videos to that end. Therefore, I pray what I'm about to say reaches your heart, inspires you, and teaches. God bless you. Hello, welcome to Behind the Amish Curtain. I'm Jenny Yoder. I spend time each morning in God's presence, and sometimes He gives me revelation. When I say revelation, I don't mean it's some huge life-changing event. Most of the time, He shows me something I've already thought about, but shows me a broader view or gives me different perspective altogether. This is one of those topics. When I was a new Christian, I wondered why Jesus had to die. But to answer that question, we have to answer why Jesus lived. In this video, I will address why Jesus lived. I ran across an article recently that I'd like to share. It published in 2018 and was written by Pastor Steve Sager, whom I don't know. I'll post the article, a link to the article in the video description. But in it, he gives 5 reasons why it was necessary for Jesus to be born as human. In Luke 1:31, the angel is speaking to Mary and says, "You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus." Philippians 2:6-8 reads, and this is speaking of Jesus. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. Before I go into the 5 reasons, I'd like to make a quick point. God showed me the true fragility he became. If we really think about it, it was truly a miracle to have Jesus at all. God chose to incarnate as a human baby, a newborn. If Joseph or Mary had chosen not to care for the infant the way parents should, he could have died. God chose to enter into our world as human in the most vulnerable way possible. Not only that, Jesus endured all the suffering we endure as humans. With that said, the question is, why? Number 1, to reveal God to us. We were born in God's image. Just as we live out an example to our children, God lives out His example through Jesus, who was a perfect human. The author of the article postulates, because He became a man, the revelation of God was personalized. Because He is God, that revelation is completely truthful. Number 2, to provide an example for our lives. This reason is similar to the first, but it adds experiencing God in the physical. Jesus reveals God's character, but also provides an example of how to live life in the physical world. Number 3, to provide an effective sacrifice for sin. The law says sin requires death for its payment. God can't die, and the death of an ordinary man would not pay for sin eternally, so God had to become man, the sacrificial lamb. Another way of saying it would be that Jesus had to die as us in our sin so that we could live as Him. Number 4, to destroy the works of the devil. 1 John 3:8 says, "But when people keep sinning, it shows that they belong to the devil, who has been sinning since the beginning. But the Son of God came to destroy the works of the devil." Because Satan must be defeated in the arena he dominates, this world, Christ had to come into this world to destroy the works of Satan. Number 5, to fulfill the Davidic covenant. Luke 1:31-33. We read Luke 1:31 earlier. Then it goes on to say, He will be very great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his ancestor David, and he will reign over Israel forever. His kingdom will never end. It's worth noting here something I also learned as a new Christian. When the word kingdom is used in this context, kingdom is not referring to a place, which is what we normally think of in our modern time. The angel was saying God's rule will never end. Kingdom is God's kingship, not a place. So the angel told Mary her son would be given the throne of David. To occupy a throne requires human physical form, and only God qualifies for that seat. So the only qualified person would be a God-man, i.e., Jesus. I don't know about you, but I am eternally grateful that Jesus obeyed and completed his work in this world and at the cross. As a man, since he had given up all his divine privileges, he could have given in to temptation at any time, but he didn't. He did have one certain advantage over the rest of us. He was not covered up by sin and darkness from the beginning. Unlike Jesus, we are all born into sin nature. But that discussion is for another time.